Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma. Still going to be going through my Game Week 2 team selection. So we're going to go through my Game Week 2 team selection, my Game Week 1 team review, and some transfer thoughts I'm thinking ahead of Game Week 2. But before we get into the video, if you are new around here or if you are returning, if you are not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any content going up on the channel. Pushing for 800 subscribers, so make sure you hit that sub button. Without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So first, I'm going to start off with my Game Week 1 team review, and of course, Game Week 1 is just a game week for gauging the performance of teams and players. And for me, it was not a good performance for Game Week 1. Managed to score 54 points. I think we are right on the average score, which I think was 54. Then my overall points, of course, 54. And a red arrow from number one in the world to 4.5 million. And yeah, not a good Game Week 1. It's always been a customary for me, but it is what it is. Still a long season to go. So in goal, he had Sanchez with 8 points. I think a clean sheet and some, I think one bonus point or two bonus points in there. Very impressive from Chelsea defensively in that Crystal Palace game. Then you had Pedro Porro with 6 points, not attacking returns, but did keep a clean sheet against Burnley. Then you had Diouf, 1 point. Very, very surprised. But if you watched my previous videos, I was a little bit skeptical about having West Ham players, but I did not go for the big hitters like Bowen. But we had Diouf in there. Well, I brought him in last minute, to be fair, because of the rotation with Richard, which I'm going to talk about in I'm going to talk about in the future. So we had Diouf with 1 point, conceding 3 goals to Burnley. I mean, 3 goals to Sunderland. Sorry, they're going to have a very long season. Then we had Williams, also 1 point, conceded a late goal to was it Brentford from a penalty, and also got a yellow card, so 1 point for him. Palmer Blunt looked very, very poor for Chelsea. To be fair, all the Chelsea players looked very poor, apart from maybe Estavao and Correa, who looked very decent. So Palmer 3 points. Salah did score in the very, very last minute of the game. It looked like he was going to only get 2 points, or is it 3 points? But he didn't manage to score a late goal. So 16 points for the captain. Vats, not one of his best days out there, but of course still adjusting to the league. So maybe that's something I should have factored before bringing him to the team. But 2 points from him. Then you have Rogers, who looked very decent, but I think the other players around him did not perform up to the standard expected from Aston Villa. So only 3 points from Rogers in there. Then we had Reinders with 10 points. I think the standard performance of the week was from Reinders, of course. You can think about Ballard, but I think also Reinders, a goal and assist, 10 points. Very unlucky to miss out on bonus points because of a silly yellow card he picked up, which was very avoidable, to be fair. So 10 points from him. But I'm able to continue playing and able to give us the points. Then he had Watkins with only 2 points. Very poor performance in front of goal. He had a couple of half chances, but could not put any of them away. So 2 points. Then Joe Pedro, only 2 points as well. Looks very shocking for Chelsea, to be fair. So 2 points on the bench. Dubravka, 2 points. Richard, 6 points for clinch against Chelsea, which I did not expect. That's why he was on the bench. Then he had Esteve with 1 point, and then Gui with 0 points, who did not play since he's still coming back from injury. So the team for Game Week 1, not the best performance, but again, not the worst performance as well. So now let's look at what Game Week 2 has in store for us. So before we get into my Game Week 2, I had some transfer thoughts I was thinking of doing ahead of Game Week 2, but it looks like I'm going to just save the transfer and gauge what's going to happen in Game Week 2, and then before making my transfers for Game Week 3. And one of the transfers I was thinking about, or something I was just thinking about in the back of my mind, because I have 0.5M in the bank, so it gives me that chance of being able to get another big hitter in the team. And so to be able to get that big hitter in the team, I was thinking of doing Watkins to Haaland, which is a big, big jump from 9 million to 14 million, of course. But from what I saw in Game Week 1, Haaland looks hungry in front of goal. That second goal he scored just moved me, and I thought, wow, I just need him in my FPL team. And Watkins looked very, very poor. So I think I'm going to wait for the Brentford game with Watkins if Aston Villa don't look really sharp, because Nottingham Forest did put 3 goals past Brentford. So it's just I'm going to watch out and see if it's going to be the same case. If Watkins blanks, I think I'll just have to pull the plug and go to Haaland before the price rises to that 14.1 million, because I think it's very, very close to for him to price rise. So yeah, that's something I'm looking at. So I think I'm going to be going from Watkins to Haaland. And that's a transfer I was thinking about for game week 2, but I don't want to take a -4. So now let's look at what this transfer and how I can make this transfer possible. And to be able to make the Watkins to Haaland transfer possible, I'd have to do Palmer to Ndoye at Nottingham Forest. I think at 6 million, I think he's going to be a regular starter for them. He didn't manage to score in game week 1 for them. So yeah, so I'm going to gauge Palmer in this West Ham fixture. West Ham did concede 3 goals to Sunderland. So if Palmer blanks in this game week, I think it is only fair to just transfer him out and wait for him to be able to regain form again in the latter stages of the season. But yeah, for this transfer I'm thinking about, those are the 2 transfers I'm thinking about: Watkins to Haaland, Palmer to Ndoye. I think it's a very good transfer, and with zero point 0.5 in the bank, I think it allows me to do this straightforward without having to change a lot in the team. But for now, we're going to be we're holding off the transfers. So now let's look at what my game week 2 team is going to be looking like. So this is how my Game Week 2 team is going to be looking like, somewhat similar to my Game Week 1 team, though maybe a few changes here and there. I think it's only one change really. So I'm going to be having Sanchez in goal against West Ham. I'd expect a clean sheet. Of course, West Ham did look good in front of goal. They just didn't manage to score, and I think Chelsea are a better defensive unit compared to Sunderland. So I think there's going to be a clean sheet in there, and not clean sheet, maybe some save points in there would be very much appreciated. Then we have Pedro Porro against Man City. Of course, a very tough fixture for Porro, but of course, all of us have Porro in our teams for the attacking returns, and I hope that in this game we can be able to get those attacking returns. I'm not so sure who's going to be playing, Richarlison or Solanke, so that's something. Of course, if it's Solanke, I'll expect a few assist points in there. But if it's Richarlison, I just be hoping for a technically clean sheet, but I think it's going to be impossible with how Man City are playing. Then you have Richards against Nottingham Forest. The only concern I have with Crystal Palace ahead at the moment, they're going to be playing on Thursday, I think in the Conference League for the qualifier or something like that. So we don't know how the match fitness is going to be ahead of the Nottingham Forest game. But for now, I'm going to be putting Richards in the team. I hope I'm able to keep a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, but Chris Wood looks on fire already, so I'm not so sure about that. Then we have Nico Williams from Nottingham Forest. Of course, last game, very unlucky with the yellow card. He was going to get a lot of points before the yellow card and before they considered the last minute penalty to Brentford. But I hope against Crystal Palace, who, as I've just mentioned, are going to be having tired legs, is going to play a part in him getting a clean sheet. Also on set pieces, but I don't know how that slang's going to go, since I've just signed Douglas Luiz, who was on set pieces for Aston Villa when he was there. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. But I expect some assists in this game. If not an assist, maybe a check nil will go a very long way. Double 6 points in defense will be very much appreciated. So that's the defense and the goalkeepers. Now let's look at the midfield. So now we can go to the midfield. How the midfield is going to be looking like. Going to be having Salah in there against Newcastle. I think Salah in the game week 1 he looked good, but the last minute goal I think was not so good to watch, and hope that he's going to score. But I hope that against Newcastle, who are a somewhat depleted side, of course they haven't lost any big players. Maybe I don't think they've lost any big players, to be honest. So I hope that. Against Newcastle, who are very good defensively. Hope that Salah and Co can be able to score a goal past them. Then we have Vats, hoping for a somewhat better performance out there. But to be honest, I don't think it's going to be a very good. It's not going to be a very easy to perform in Newcastle with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton constantly, and of course Tonali constantly on you when you touch the ball in that middle of the park. But I hope you can be able to get an assist so that you can be able to hit the ground running. Then we have Palmer against West Ham, someone I'm strongly considering captaining for this game week. But they do play on a Friday night, which is something I don't want to risk. But for now, Palmer has the captaincy ahead of West Ham because West Ham looked so poor defensively against Sunderland. So I trust that Palmer can be able to also break down that defensive line. Then you have Rangers against Spurs. Of course, a tougher opposition compared to Wolves, but he did look very sharp in that game, and I hope that he's going to be able to have a somewhat similar performance against Spurs. Then finishing off the team, going to be having Rogers. They're going to be playing Brentford, who just conceded 3 goals as well. They looked very poor defensively. So I hope that Rogers can be able to continue playing well. He did play well in game week one, just not attacking return, but I hope he can be able to brush that outside and be able to get an attacking return in game week two. So that's the midfield with Palmer as the captain in there. Let me know what you think about that captaincy pick. So now let's look at the forward line. So the forward line is going to be looking like going to be having Watkins in there against Brentford. As I mentioned, I'm keeping a good watch on Watkins. If he blanks in this game week, I think just time to move on and bring in the big dogs in Haaland in there. But so one more game for him. Hope he's going to be able to perform against Brentford. I hope he's going to get a cheeky goal as well. And then we have Joe Pedro finishing off the team against West Ham. I expect a very different performance from the one for game week one. Of course, he's a Premier League proven striker and hope that he can be able to score against the likes of West Ham. Then on the bench, we have Dubravka against Sunderland. Just don't trust that Burnley defense, but it could change since they're playing someone else. Then you have Esteve, Diouf, and Gui also on the bench. Hope to see some Gui minutes and hope to see a stronger performance from Diouf than maybe a cheeky attacking return and a better performance from Esther as well. But there are going to be players on the bench. So that's the team for game week two. Looks pretty solid. And as I was mentioning about Richards and Diouf, they have a very good very good swap system. So that's why I went for both of them instead of going for someone more expensive. And I hope it's going to be able to pay out. It might not, but all you can do is hope. I hope it's going to be able to pay out. So that's the team for game week two. Looks pretty solid. And yeah, with that, I hope I can able to get a lot of points. And with that, if you manage to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to join the leagues. And don't forget to follow me on my socials. All the links are down in the description. And with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching. And I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.